Scorpio friends, an unexpected twist regarding shared resources or regarding your intimate life or deep psychological truths is going to trigger a rapid and profound transformation for you this week. What happens is going to be fated. Let's take a look at what that's going to look like in your life through checking out your horoscope for the week ahead. Friends, this video is a forecast for your sun, your moon, or your rising sign. You can check out all three videos, and they're going to tell you how the stars are going to affect your life this week. I'm Kesenya, and welcome to the Astro News and Weather Report for the third week of June 2026. Don't forget, everyone, this is tropical Vedic astrology, not sidereal astrology. Do look it up if you need to. And yes, I am a real person, not AI. So on the 20th of June, this is the key feature we're looking at in the week ahead, and it's a doozy. Uranus will exactly square the nodes at 3 degrees and 9 minutes. They've been tangoing very close to one another in the preceding days up until this point, but they become exact on the 20th. So we are absolutely under this energy at this time. So pow, this energy is bold, big, and exceptional, and it only occurs roughly every 8 years. It's not common, it's not ordinary. So did you experience an important life shift back in 2018? It's likely to have been the result of this big, powerful event in the sky, Uranus squaring the nodes. And those themes that happened back then may be getting to make a repeat in your life in some way, shape, or form now. And it's all fated. Anything to do with the nodes becomes very fated indeed. So are you ready for a surprising and life-changing shift? Because here it comes. So nobody said this energy was easy. It is a square aspect to the south node and the north node, as you'll see in the little piece of chart footage that I've got here on the screen with me. Nobody said this was easy. The aspects are harsh, but it will get you unstuck. It may create some chaos, but possibly in the end, it's going to take you more to your destiny and put you in a more self-sufficient position in life. That's what Uranus wants to achieve, after all. So you will want to embrace your own truth. You won't stand for pretense or fakeness or falseness anymore, either yours or other people's. And you may even up and abandon everything that you thought you knew or thought that you wanted from life. This is an energy of sudden impacts, shocks, and life-changing redirectioning. Get ready for it all, my friends, and that's what this video is actually designed to do for you. Now, it may have global effects. We are, I believe, already seeing some of those effects at play in the geopolitical area. But on a collective level, this transit stirs restlessness within the masses and restlessness with the status quo. The way life is not satisfying anymore. We've had about a gutful of certain elements of the way life is unfolding. There's going to be a lot of differences of opinion around this time, particularly when it comes to Uranian things like technology, community dynamics, friendships, individuality, and our general direction as a society. These things could become especially divisive now. They could be potentially damaging. They might sever alliances and relationships of all kinds. We can also expect in a global level changes on societal and technological levels that will really alter the collective path of humanity. Going against the grain and societal disapproval, these are key themes. We're already seeing it. If you get your news from social media sources, it's out there. Mainstream media won't touch on any of this, but it's absolutely happening. Like, just take a look at what's going on in Ireland right now, if you want an example of this. You know, it is about going against the mainstream narrative and the mainstream norm. That's very Uranian, and it's fractious as it does so with a square to the nodes. But this is part of our collective, I'll get my words right, destiny. Cooperation doesn't come easily at times like this. And yet what we're seeing, for example, in Ireland does sort of herald the potential for a collective movement, for a revolution. And there are other themes at play at the moment besides just this Uranus square to the nodes. We have a trine to Pluto. We have a sextile from Uranus to Neptune as well. That is really holding space and helping this theme to perhaps have more positive momentum than it might otherwise do at other times. This was certainly not the case in 2018 when this dynamic last formed. But what about how it's going to affect you personally? In evolutionary astrology, Uranus represents our need to free ourselves from the conditioning that's been forced upon us by our culture, whatever culture that may happen to be for you. Culture's rules, culture's expectations. You might not even be aware that you have been conditioned, but believe me, everybody has to some extent, some people more than others. But those of us who hunger for awakening, who hunger for greater awareness, and who want to be deconditioned out of societal constructs are going to find that this transit is an absolute blessing despite the upheavals that it might bring. Those who still love mainstream media, those who believe that the government acts in their best interests, those who don't want to acknowledge the true root of darkness in society will find that this transit is tremendously challenging because Uranus is going to shake us all off the fence quite forcefully in some way. So it's a time that we're going to need to increase our awareness in order to choose wisely. The choices that the universe is requiring us to make may not be obvious at this time either, and it might be a case of having to take the path less trodden to get to a much better outcome. This transit can bring the biggest of life disruptions. Think sudden endings, sudden beginnings, changes in life direction, new ideas and breakthroughs that you would never have anticipated popping into your life in amazing ways. So here are a couple of questions that you might like to ponder on or journal about in the lead up to this energy becoming exact. Firstly, where were you 8 years ago, around November 2018? And what feels similar to you now about the circumstances you're in? Secondly, question yourself, are you clinging to the past, to old ways of doing things, to old beliefs, out of a state of fear of the new, or are you bold enough to step into something that is completely unknown now? In what ways do you deny the truths that keep knocking at your door? Now, this might be the beliefs that you have despite all the evidence you're seeing to the contrary, or the relationships that you keep rehashing over and over and over when you know you should just let them go, or the choices you make that speak to compliance with society instead of the liberation that Uranus actually may want for you. If the universe was to radically shift something in your life right now, what would you want it to be? I'd suggest putting that out there to the universe and asking for the shift and the dynamic and the change to occur in that field of life, because the universe is ready to rock the boat and may just do it in your favor now. So now we're going to go through the influences for each sign. And remember, my friends, to check out your sun sign, your moon sign, and your rising sign, because all will be relevant to some degree or another in your life. Whew, Scorpio, this one goes deep. So naturally, being a Scorpio, you'll love it. Uranus is in your 8th house, squaring the karmic nodes. This is going to bring to you a real psychological breakthrough, a shift potentially in the money that you share with somebody else, like joint bank accounts, or maybe money that you receive from others, like a loan or an inheritance or tax return or something like that. Or even just actual resources, material goods, like a house you share with somebody else, or, some furniture or a car or something, shared resources. This breakthrough might occur through those mechanisms. Or it could look like a truth that sort of crawls up from somewhere buried inside you, and it triggers an absolute radical transformation for you. This is not a surface level week, Scorpio. It's the kind of change that happens in the dark, quietly, until suddenly you're just not the same person anymore. And it's happened in the blink of an eye, but in a way that you can't deny. It creeps up, like I said, and the secret is revealed to the light. You know what? Society really doesn't like to talk about this messy stuff. You know, things like grief, things like power, things like our sexuality, or the shadow side of being human, the darkness that resides within us all. And what this transit is going to do, Uranus is going to basically drag all of that up into the light and says, deal with it, Scorpio. Stop outsourcing your power. Stop pretending you don't feel what you feel. Stop letting shame and guilt run the show for you. Deal with that stuff. There's a lot of liberation awaiting for you, but it's traumatic to deal with the gunk. There's a kind of liberation on the other side of facing your own depths honestly this week that is going to be amazing if you can do it. And if anyone can, it's you, Scorpio. So what can we expect in the literal sense? Well, a sudden shift in shared finances. You know, maybe one of you or your partner gets an inheritance. Maybe you have to deal with a debt or a tax situation. Maybe there's a change in what your partner is earning that causes the shift. Or there could be a physical event. It could be a medical situation or a dramatic reversal of fortune that happens with the 8th house. It could be intense, but it's initiating you into something that is much more real in the long run. Your destiny, your future, the purpose. You are learning also, Scorpio, to ask for help, and how you share, yourself is going to change now. You're going to want to learn to share yourself without losing yourself now. And that is a challenge for anyone, but particularly it's a challenge for Scorpio people. But it's what you're being called to this week through the circumstances and the crises that may unfold. So as you can see, Scorpio, it's a big week of karma for everybody. And if you want to understand more about your soul's deep dive journey, then you will love my Karmic Astrology Masterclass. And you'll also get a free astrological goddess report based on your personal birth chart when you join. You know, the feedback that I've had for this course has blown me away. And I know that this wisdom is going to absolutely transform your life too and support you in this 8th house journey you're on with Uranus this week as well. So join the class through the link in the description below. I know you're going to love it.